Hi, this is Fred Dodson, and these are the responses to the Ask Me Anything session that I posted to readers on my website, realitycreation.org. The first question on the list, I answered them as they come in, is from Mola, and she asks, I find myself in an anti-friend zone. How can I have more friends? Well, first of all, Mola, why don't you stop defining yourself as being in an anti-friend zone? Secondly, why don't you make the firm intention to find new friends? Do you really want new friends? Do you have the time for them? Do you have something to offer to them? Number three, make sure that you feel comfortable with yourself. You enjoy yourself. You enjoy you. You know who you are, because if you like yourself, other people are going to have a lot of fun with you. Okay? And you can also practice raising your own mood in the middle of the day when there's no occasion for raising your mood, to suddenly feel more humor or more joy or more love. And fourth, make it a point to say hi to people. Even just a hi is enough, to strangers, and to get to know somebody new every day, regardless of whether they're going to be your friend or not. Okay, to just go online and meet people, go outside to the gym or to clubs or seminars and meet people. Make it a point to enjoy meeting people, knowing that people belong together, people like being connected, and it's an exchange of energy for you to be with them. Okay? All the best, Mola. The next question comes from Kuwait, and it is, how can I avoid attachment when visualizing goals? And my answer to that is, if you're fully identified, if you believe your wish is already fulfilled inside, okay, you naturally release attachment. So that means you gotta identify more strongly, as if you own it. You see, if you get this new car and you already own it, you know that over time your attachment to it releases because you already got it. And that's the answer to that question. All the best. The next questioner asks, how can we balance between spontaneity and planning? And that's an intelligent question. And I'd like to answer it by giving you an example from my own life. Okay? When I do a seminar, I plan each and every hour precisely. I write down what I'm going to do at 10:30, what I'm going to do at 11:15, coffee break at 11:15, and then we do this and this exercise. And then when the seminar actually comes around, I don't even look at the plan. I do what comes up spontaneously, and that's usually something other than I planned. Okay? So I take plans not as set in stone, as fixed, as must. I take them as a general orientation and as putting out intentions. Okay? Planning is putting out mental intentions, and often I don't even have to do them by myself. They arise spontaneously because I sent out that intention. Now, acting spontaneously, as I'm doing now in this video presentation, is so much more powerful because it's based on what is going on right now. It's responsive to what is happening right now and not based on past preconceptions of how things are supposedly going to be or supposed to be. Okay? So my seminars are about 80% spontaneous, with a little bit of experience from what worked in the past. And then if at any point I don't know what to do, I revert to my plan and say, aha, I could do this and that. Okay, so it's an anchor that helps me, but it's not something that defines me. And the way I do my seminars is that's how I live my entire life. And that's how you can too balance between spontaneity and planning. Good luck. Donna asks, how can I get out of my comfort zone easily and smoothly without getting back? Now, Donna, dear, that's like asking, how can I go out into the rain without getting wet? You see, because comfort zone implies that it's not comfortable, not easy, not smooth. It's outside of your comfort zone. You have to stretch yourself just a little bit to grow, okay? So getting out of your comfort zone is not easy and not smooth. That's why it's outside of your comfort zone, all right? But as you focus on a certain subject and repeat getting out of your comfort zone many, many times, you integrate it. You integrate it into your comfort zone, and it becomes part of your comfort zone, thereby becoming easy and smooth as you familiarize yourself with it. Dave from Florida asks, if our souls are dreaming of experiencing this dimension on earth, to have adventures and forget that we are all-powerful, infinite beings, what's the point of waking up in the middle of the dream? Doesn't that negate the whole purpose? To which my answer is, yes, it does. Allow me to give you an analogy, okay? When you play a board game, let's say, or a video game, you do so with the intention of identifying with it fully, getting fully into it, enjoying it, and not constantly being reminded of other realities outside of the game, or constantly being told, that's only a game, that's only a game, you know. You want to fully identify. However, with many people, it's that they identify with the game too strongly, so strongly that they get upset and take the game so seriously as if it's the only thing that exists and their entire existence depends on the game. And the reason I teach what I teach is not so that people leave the game or go elsewhere or give up the game, but no longer identify so strongly that they take it too seriously and create serious health issues and financial issues for themselves. So yes, I love life. I really genuinely love life. I love playing the game, but I'm never going to get so identified that I forget the context of the game, okay? The whole. Not forgetting that there's more than just the game, okay? Now, that's why I'd say you should be in a higher state of consciousness or experience something higher at least once or twice a year, or something mysterious, you know, so that you loosen up a little bit and don't take the game so seriously. An anonymous questioner asks, is there any relation between karma and duality? So, first of all, let's define what is karma. Karma is basically that you get back what you put out, in its essence, okay? In Western terminology, we could say for every action or every thought, there is a consequence. And you always get back what you put out. However, I say in my book, Levels of Energy, that if you ascend a certain level of consciousness beyond the dual, beyond duality, that all karmic effects are forgiven, so to speak. Okay? So at a very, very high level of consciousness, the law of cause and effect, which is a law of time, ceases to exist, because cause and effect is within time. But on this planet Earth, and in a normal state of consciousness, it certainly does exist. Omar from Saudi Arabia asks, how do you explain death? Is it something that I choose and create, or something that is imposed on me and I have no choice? which is another very interesting question that I've asked myself before. And my experience and results of research tend to think again that at lower and normal mid-levels of consciousness, death is something you don't choose. It's chosen for you, imposed for you. And at higher levels of consciousness, it's something you can choose yourself. It's something you actually already chose at a higher level of consciousness before you incarnated into this existence. Okay? That is my view on it. Carolina from Austria asks, I'm a bit confused about shifting into a parallel reality. It seems to be an ongoing adjustment of watching and refining the frequency. While my idea of shifting is that when you become someone else who doesn't have the memory of certain beliefs to adjust them all the time. So my question is, what is the difference between the process of changing into someone else and literally shifting and being someone else instantly? My answer to that is that in linear time, in which your physical body and mind exists, it is a gradual process of adjusting and repeating, okay? In that dimension, you repeat my exercise, then repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, and then you succeed. In this dimension, repetition is the key to all success. However, again, at a higher level of consciousness or within consciousness, within your imagination and emotion, shift is instant. It's instant, okay? And often, just shifting once is enough. And you let the universe take care of the rest. And if you're a fairly calm person, trusting person, with a good connection to that which is higher, you don't need any repetition. Or to put it differently, the higher your consciousness, the less repetition you need. The more happy your circumstances, the more you're in the flow and easily attract more of that happiness. Repetition is required when you're not doing so well, when you're in a lower consciousness. In fact, the lower you are in the mud and the quagmire, the harder the work you need to get out. Repetition, repetition, repetition. But when you're up here, you've deserved not having to do much of anything, and anything changes with a snap of a finger. The next questioner asks, Fred, usually it is said to make a wish before meditation, then start meditating on it, and then it'll manifest. I'm not comfortable with the idea because I feel that in my meditation, I start perceiving unlimited probabilities. And my answer to that is there's many different types to meditate, okay? Many different ways. And indeed, one of the better ways to meditate is not to have any intention at all when you meditate, to just meditate for the sake of presence and silence, okay? To feel the silence, the power of that silence. And then there's the type of meditation where you meditate and different ideas come up. And if you go to a higher level, the quality of those ideas and wishes and manifestations increases, okay? And then the third way you could do this is to take a wish you already have and take that into meditation. So these don't contradict each other, they're just different methods. Manuel from Spain asks, I apply the reality creation technique, let's say to, I'll make $100 this week from my new business. I get to the point of no resistance or counter-intention, yet it doesn't manifest that week. Why? Would you just keep using that intention? Well, yes, I would. If you say you get to the point of no counter-intention, that can't be true, otherwise it would be manifest. Do you see my way of thinking? However, in this case, $100 is not such a good example. It doesn't seem too exciting or courageous to me. How about you try with $1,000 or $10,000, a think big concept, something that excites you, and then see if you don't more easily manifest the 100. Manuel also asks, currently I do scripting, visualizing, and the reality creation technique. Should I focus on just one technique? My answer to that is no. Use anything that helps you get into the feeling and mood of already having it. Okay? So you focus on something for some time, and you might use this method, that method, that method, and that method. It doesn't matter which. What matters is that you feel the mood. The next questioner asks, is physical manifestation accelerated by lucid dreaming? And if so, in which way? No, it is not. It's not accelerated by lucid dreaming. Instead, your night dreams, when they're vivid and lucid, indicate what you're already in the process of manifesting. I say many of the things you dream are half manifest, which gives you a chance, if you're lucid in your dream, to let them go or get more into them. Several questioners ask, how can I find my purpose in life? How can I find my calling? Well, I'd like to direct you to my video of the same name, titled Find Your Calling. Okay? Finding your purpose is often connected to following your interests, the things that interest you. Okay? If you follow one thing that interests you, you climb to the top of a mountain, and it is only from the top of that mountain that you see the next mountain that might interest you. If you don't follow that path, you can't see the other mountains because you don't even start. Okay? And one thing leads to another, and what all of this finally leads to is your purpose in life. Janie from Arizona asks, how do you mend a broken heart when the love of your life has chosen someone else? Well, Janie, this is an opportunity for you to build a relationship with the most important person in your life. Do you know who that is? It's you. Okay? It's an opportunity to value and respect yourself more, to get to know yourself again, after you've apparently given up too much of yourself for somebody else who lost interest for you in precisely that reason. So if you fail to respect and love yourself and your time and express your needs and wants, and if you fail to maintain your own integrity and identity, you usually won't be loved or chosen by others. So in your next relationship, don't give up your authentic self. And take this as an opportunity to improve yourself to a point where nobody in his right mind would ever leave you. Shirley from the UK asks, how can you ensure you remain vibrationally aligned to the reality you wish to create once you've released it? As someone who is easily distracted, I'm wondering if I'll then start creating a different reality instead. Well, Shirley, think of your reality for a moment. Think of what you want to manifest. And as you think of it, Do you feel warm or pleasant or interested or inspired? If so, you're still aligned with it and you don't have to worry about it. If not, it's time to realign with it by going back into it in your imagination. Simple as that. Roberto from Germany asks whether the one from which we are all made is love. And am I on the right track that connecting to the one or to God is the highest goal in life? To which I answer, yes. Connecting to the source of all things and the oneness of all things is the most important goal in life. And I wouldn't say goal, because you were never disconnected in the first place, so it can't be a goal that you're separate from. Instead, it's something to be aware of on a regular basis, on a daily basis, in fact. Okay? Because as you are aware of being connected to all, much more becomes possible in your life. If you're connected to the one, you start gaining abilities similar to the one. A questioner from California asks, only when I'm with my boyfriend I feel safe and secure. When I'm with other people I'm very insecure and fearful. I can't make eye contact, especially with beautiful females. How can I deal with this? I find it hard sometimes to slow down or even relax my thoughts about it while I'm in it. Well, in general, you'd have to spend much more time with such females that you feel insecure around, but also with a new attitude, okay, with a new intention, with the intention of reducing the meaning and importance of such social contacts. I want you to know that you can be, say, or do whatever. You don't have to be, say, or do something in order to please them, or appease to them, or be liked by them, or get their approval, okay? Check out my video, Letting Go of Attention and Approval. That might help you. And spend so much more time with these people until you realize they too have similar thoughts, and they too just want attention and approval. And if you can simply acknowledge them as in, hi, or that's a nice bag, nice dress, or in any other way, that's often enough to break the ice, you see. You got to get out of your head and just relax. These situations don't have the high importance and meaning that you think they do. It's just a couple of people getting together, and you can feel with them in the same way, familiar way you feel with your boyfriend. The next questioner asks, how can I feel good without any tools or effort? Well, your natural state is to feel good, okay? And if it costs effort for you to feel good, it's because you're covering something up, all right? So feeling bad is not a bad thing. Bad feelings are supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be covered up when your thinking or acting is wrong, okay? When your thinking or acting is wrong, you are supposed to feel bad. And you're not supposed to cover that up with trying to feel good effortfully. Either feeling good comes naturally, or it's just not there because something in your thinking or acting needs to be corrected first. Okay? And once you correct that and correct your path to a path that feels better, or thinking that feels better, the good feeling is going to flow naturally. You won't constantly have to work on it, or go to therapy over it, or use techniques over it. It's your natural state when you're doing that which is right for you. Gabriel from Brazil asks, how to deal with fear, anxiety, and other not so pleasant emotions that arise when creating a new reality. These things may arise when you're starting to create a new reality, okay, because you're changing. But as you identify more strongly and get into the new thing more strongly, they recede. So having fear and anxiety while creating a new reality simply means that you're not identified with the new reality fully yet. You don't feel you own it yet, because if you felt you owned it in your imagination and felt it from head to toe and claimed it and say, this is mine, you'd not feel that fear. The next questioner asks, is there a good force in the universe that can help us evolve even when we are stuck? Or do we have to do it all by ourselves? Well, I personally believe there's a lot of love and help from above, endlessly. And I also believe there's a lot of love and help from my neighbors, from my friends, from my loved ones. And I also believe there's a lot of love and help from myself. Doug asks, I find the concept of being the question a bit abstract versus acting as if or taking on an identity viewpoint. Could you expand on this or explain it in more practical terms? What to look for, perhaps? Dear Doug, if the idea of being the question is too abstract for you, please drop it. There's no point in overanalyzing things or trying to live up to somebody's teaching. Take something that feels normal to you and practice that feels interesting, non-abstract, something you can feel, because abstract means it feels far away, it feels intellectual. Okay, so in your case, I just dropped the idea for now. Even if I taught it, just drop it, you know. Not every teaching is appropriate for every person. The next questioner asks, Fred, what is your purpose in life, and why have you chosen that purpose? My purpose in life is to teach reality creation through the means and tools of audio, video, live coaching, live seminars, and books. The reason I know this is my purpose is because I burn for it every single day. And the fire just keeps getting stronger. The passion is still there after all these years. And that's how I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then you ask, why have you chosen that purpose? I've chosen it because it feels right. Simple as that. The next questioner asks, what is your life like now? How different are your goals and fantasies today from when you first started your self-discovery journey? My goals today are radically different from what they used to be, and that's a good sign, because it indicates that what I wanted long ago has manifested. What did I want long ago? It was money, it was health, it was love. All three are manifested dozens of times perfectly. And what usually happens when you manifest the basics, okay, the ego desires, the lower desires, is that your mind goes to higher desires, naturally, to higher self-intentions. And my interests nowadays are sharing what I know, helping those who are disoriented, just like I once was. My intentions are to create and produce more and to research and explore. I love research and exploration. The next question comes from The next question is, Dear Fred, how to overcome stuttering? I don't really think that's something I should give a quick answer to. I think issues like that require some processing. Okay? So I recommend you meet me for a 1-hour session on Skype where we can process through your stuttering and dissolve it together. The next question is from Maisa, again in Saudi Arabia. And she says, my 13-year-old daughter insists that in her sleep she goes to a completely different universe where she has a life, and sometimes she wanders between various universes. Would you please tell me something about the world of sleep? Well, I'll tell you that you do this too. This is quite normal. We all do this, okay? We don't just stay in the bedroom when we fall asleep. That would be incredibly boring. We all travel because our spirit can travel. It's free from the body when the body is sleeping. We travel to other dimensions, other planets, parallel lives. The list is endless, okay? The difference with children is that they actually remember what they're doing at night, okay? Because their subconscious and conscious is still somewhat connected. This question is from Israel, and it's, how can I really accept myself as I am now and appreciate who I am? And how can I change an area of my body that I don't like? Well, first of all, accepting who you really are means that you let go of criticizing yourself and pressuring yourself all the time, putting yourself down. So when you notice in daily life that you're putting yourself down, okay, and bad talking yourself, even verbally, you just interrupt that and you stop it, and you allow yourself not to be perfect. Say, can I just allow myself now not to be perfect, or to feel down, or not to have the perfect body? Can I be okay with being vulnerable? Be okay with not knowing the answers all the time? Okay, and once you relax in that matter and become more easygoing with yourself, that naturally improves your ability to actually change something about yourself. Okay? And if you want to change something about yourself, you imagine it repeatedly. So if there's a body part you want to change, you imagine something else at that part. Every morning when you wake up, every evening when you go to sleep. And if you find yourself unable to do so, then take a body part that already feels good and see if you can transfer that feeling to the body part that feels bad. Okay, now I know this requires some work and discipline, so I'd recommend you order one of my custom-made meditations just for your case. They only cost $99, and you can listen to them over and over and over again until your situation improves. Now, Gabriela from Austria is asking whether when she heals somebody, she's actually healing them or she's entering a parallel universe in which they are already healed. And my response to that is both, or either or. You can do it both ways. Okay, so by being with them, you give them energy, and the energy you give them may help them to improve themselves, heal themselves, but you may also start seeing them in a way where they're already healthy, where you trust that they're getting better, where they're improving. And if you see them that way, you positively influence them, okay? And that's as if you were seeing them from a parallel reality in which they're already healthy. All right, so both is happening depending on which perspective you're looking at it from. Best not to overanalyze this, but to enjoy the process of healing. and allow them to heal. Fatima from Morocco is asking, what are relationships about? Now that's a big question right there. What really happens when connecting with others and sharing time and energy with them? What is the truth of relationships and their purpose? Dear, I could write a whole book about that. There's thousands of movies about that, millions of songs. So I'll give you the short answer, okay? And it is, the purpose of relationship is to develop and cultivate love and care. Because when you cultivate love and care, your energy and consciousness level increase. And when they increase, your love and care increases. And when your love and care increases, your awareness increases, and so forth. This is a question from Katerina from Greece, now living in Texas. My question to you would be, what or who determines our intentions? And do they always come from our higher self to engrave our life's path? No, they do not always come from our higher self, in my opinion. We have intentions that come from our lower self and those that come from our higher self. Okay? Like I said before in this video, in the beginning of my life, I manifested all my ego intentions from my lower self, money, sex, love, and once those were fulfilled, the higher self intentions naturally started coming in. Okay? Because what's the point of amassing more and more? And those intentions were connected to giving love, giving support, learning, researching, and so forth. If you want to get to the bottom of this, explore my audio in the member download section called The Dive. Okay? And that's how you get into your deeper, or in this case, higher intentions. The next question comes from Mark in Poland, and it is, what is your morning and evening routine? Dear Mark, hello. I do not have a morning or evening routine. I'm not saying it's bad to have one. I just personally don't have one. One thing I do, however, watch out for is that when I fall asleep with good thoughts and good feelings. I don't fall asleep when I'm upset, okay? Because what you fall asleep with goes more deeply into your subconscious and forms the next days, forms your entire life. The next question, also from Mark, is, who do you think will win the next presidential elections based on their current energy level? Dear Mark, I have no idea who will win the next elections, but as you know, I generally say that the candidate getting the most negative and the most positive attention usually wins the election. And we both know who that currently is. Okay, so all this negative and positive attention is currently going toward one candidate, and that is Trump. And the same thing occurred back with Obama versus, I don't even remember who he was running against, you see, because the other candidate never got any attention. And Obama versus Hillary, I think, again, she's already lost once. And then before that, it was George W. Bush versus John Kerry, I believe. And in all these instances, the person who got the most negative press and positive press usually won. Okay? I watched the presidential debates the other day, and I felt kind of sorry for both of the candidates because they have no clue how reality works. Not a clue. Okay? They both stand there in the assumption that my reality, my future, depends on them. But it doesn't. I firmly believe, experience, and teach that my reality is determined by my own beliefs, by my own imagination, by my own will, and not by which puppet happens to be president at the moment. And the final question is, how can I help somebody with cancer? This is not necessarily a question I want to give a quick answer to, okay? You can always help somebody who has cancer or even who's terminally ill by not only by giving them attention, but by asking what else they want from life, what their goals are. Because we often get terminally ill or get cancer when we're done, when we're subconsciously done with life and have no more goals. So that's something you could look into, but I don't want to go into it more here. So I'd recommend some actual real-life coaching with me on Skype or by email to progress in this area. Okay? So that's it, folks. Thank you very much for listening and watching. It was my pleasure.